Okay, hi guys, this is Foxdrop. This is going to be my very first full game commentary that I'm going to do. Um, there is a slight disclaimer here, and that is that this may be a very rough product because the way I'm having to do this because of my hard drive issues is that I'm actually just watching someone's recording of their own game. Like, this isn't a replay or anything, so I don't have full control over where he's going to put the map and stuff like that. The quality may be a bit crappy as well. I don't know, but I'm just going to give this a shot. In a month or so, I'm going to upgrade my PC a little bit, so I'll be able to do these slightly different, more to the way I'd like to do them. But I really want to do this for a long time. You guys have been asking me to do this for a long time as well, so I'm just going to go ahead and try this one out. This may be crap anyway because it's my very first one. I'm not sure, but whatever. So let's jump right into this. This game is from one of my subscribers. He has his own YouTube channel to check out. I'll put that in the description. His name is Ezra, and this game he has chosen Udyr jungle, and this is the team champion select right here. I just want to analyze a little bit of what the picks are at the moment as well. So what Udyr should be thinking right now is what he wants to achieve in this game, like early mid game. That's when jungler really has the most presence. What he really wants to do. If he's looking at the lanes which he can gank for, like mid lane, Lux. Lux is Q, Lux is E. She's really pretty easy to gank for, but if this Lux can hit her skill shots. Now I do believe this is like maybe 1300 elo, so it's not too bad. It's a pretty average elo, so it's possible that she might hit a skill shot in this game. But so mid is a pretty good gank, and Nivea is a pretty easy target to gank for as well for Udyr, although Udyr is very susceptible to being kited, so that may be an issue with Nivea's ult, with her wall, with her Q. Udyr could really be in a bit of trouble if he mucks up or something like that. Bot as well. Once bot gets 6, that should be a pretty easy gank for Udyr, and versus Ez and Soraka. Ez is kind of slippery for Udyr because he doesn't really have. I mean, his bear stance is very strong CC, but he has to actually be standing next to someone to be able to stun them, obviously. And Ezreal can just like dash away, so people with blinks are very hard for Udyr to catch up to. That's why he's very easy to kite, because he needs to be up close to them to keep them close. Once he is next to people, he can keep it that way for very long, but it's just that getting there which is difficult. But Soraka, on the other hand, is very easy target for Udyr, so I'm going to be watching out for that as well. And top lane Rengar. Rengar can be pretty good to gank for. He's got a nice gap closer with his passive, his ult as well once he gets that, and his bowler strike, I think it's called, something like that, his E. That really, it's just an easy to land CC. It should be very helpful, although Riven again can be a bit slippery, so that may be a bit difficult. And as far as the actual jungle matchup goes, Udyr versus Nocturne. Now, this is a bit hard to call because they're very similar. They're both pretty good at dueling. Udyr is a very aggressive jungler. He should be able to counter jungle this Nocturne pretty easily, but really Nocturne can do the same to Udyr as well. So it's just, I think it's going to depend on who is stronger, like in the game, rather than the actual picks. If these if the laners start getting really weak, then that's going to affect it as well, because say if Udyr goes to invade, gets caught by Nocturne, and Anivia is like twice the strength of this Lux, then they're going to collapse. There's nothing Lux can do to stop Anivia from collapsing in on Udyr, and Udyr is going to be pretty screwed. So there's that to think about as well. One thing I will mention as well though is that this Sona bot lane has no flash, and Nocturne is very good at camping bot lane after he gets level 6. And one of the good things about camping bot lane is that you can then take Dragon after you've got a kill bot. So we're going to have to watch out and see how many times this Sona dies to Nocturne ganks, which she should, you know, if she doesn't die to a Nocturne gank with no flash, then that's pretty bad on Nocturne's behalf, but we'll see how that goes. So, because of recording issues, I don't quite know why, we join our hero at 1 minute 43 seconds, and he's pulled these walls a bit late, but that's no problem, whatever. Now, this is a bit of an issue here, which a lot of people do and they don't understand. If you're standing next to a jungle creep, you steal that XP, you share that XP with the jungler, and that's really annoying as a jungler when that happens. because you're taking maybe, I don't know, a fifth of a level away from the jungler, and it's kind of frustrating. Oh, and this isn't good. When blue resets, this is always bad. You get 2 if this Lux keeps attacking it while it's running away. It's gonna reset, unless it can then reset back onto Udyr. If that happens, then that's fine. Although, as we can see here, it's actually lost quite a lot of health, which is never a good thing. You don't want to lose more health than necessary, obviously. But apart from that, this is a pretty standard start. Blue is a good route to start on Udyr. Nocturne's most likely started at blue as well, so he shouldn't be too scared here. Although he could get invaded theoretically, though I don't think too much would happen. He's spamming his stances again. He's got the mechanics down. Udyr's really, really strong at clearing. He's probably one of the strongest junglers with buffs, because with that blue buff, you've got an endless supply of mana, which is always overrated, and an endless really low cooldown, so you can spam those stances. You're not going to take any damage. It's going to proc your passive more. You're going to do more damage. So yeah, it's very, very strong. He's doing it. This is kind of where the game's a bit boring, because he's just jungling. He's just early game anyway, because there's not really much else he can do. The first few levels are very rigid unless you're playing a very, very invade heavy jungler like Shaco or Lee Sin or something. But he's just doing a safe route here. There's nothing wrong with that. He's going to get his red buff and be level... okay. I will mention here, this is what this Nocturne's done, is he's gone from blue to red to top, and he's most likely got a smiteless pull, although not necessarily, because Nocturne's a very, very fast jungler. He's probably got a smiteless on his blue buff to begin with, but a lot of... If you go from one buff to the next buff, you can expect to be out of your jungle by about 3 minutes, so be very, very careful. If you think a jungler has started a blue buff, and you're playing top, and their purple side, be very careful about 3 minutes, because that's when they're most likely going to come in for a gank. Now, has he got his... Okay, he doesn't have bear stance yet, he's not level 4, so he's not going to go in for any ganks. So Udyr, our friend Udyr here, is just farming. Again, there's nothing really wrong with farming, unless your, lanes are getting dove or something. Right. Now, if this were to transpire into a 2-on-2, I'd probably give it in... maybe Lux's favour. Okay, they're going very balls deep here. This is very, very ballsy. Lots of flashes being blown. There wasn't really much of a play there, because Nocturne with his spell shield was a spell shield. They, bear stance stun. But also, I think that play was very forced, because Lux had actually used all her spells. So there was no real point. That everything would have been on cooldown. Even if he had landed the stun, there wouldn't really have been anything to go there. He stayed around for a bit too long there as well, because there wasn't really anything to do. But he only lost a few seconds, so it's not that big a deal. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with farming. If you've got nothing better to do, farming is fine in the jungle. This is very boring to watch, so I'm just going to comment on the lanes here. Rengar actually died first blood, but he's doing something kind of risky, but if he gets away with it, then it's pretty good. Where he's shoving his lane, which is making it a bit difficult for Riven, although it looks like she's freezing pretty well here, so that could be very, 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 very awkward for Rengar, because if he gets gonked, that could be trouble. But we see the Nocturne's actually bot, so that's not going to happen. We'll see what happens here though. Face checking is always very risky. That was a bit of a preemptive cleanse. Udyr's kind of low here, so he needs to be very careful if this Ez decides he wants a bit of bear. Okay, so they picked up Soraka, which was very good. No assist for Udyr, but without him there, that wouldn't have happened, obviously. That was pretty well played. He distracted all attention from Soraka. Ezreal was pretty hungry for that Udyr there. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe because Udyr was on, like, I don't know how much health was, like 40% health, so Ez thought he could take him. He needs to buy, yeah, good boy. He bought a Heart of Gold. Heart of Gold is very, very strong. It's probably the first time you should be buying. On Phoenix Udyr, you don't need to go Wriggles at all. Wit's End is very strong on him, but apart from that, you don't need any like offensive items at all. Age of the Legion is a good item. Triforce is a pretty good item, although that's a bit risky, because you really only need to go tanky on Udyr. There's no real need to go any offensive items. Nocturne is just, he's got quite a lot of pressure. Nocturne and Udyr, they're playing pretty equal this game, even though Nocturne got first blood and Udyr doesn't even have an assist. This is why stats are, not very good, because it doesn't really mean anything. Nocturne got first blood, but Udyr really did help get a kill bot, so there's that. Rengar somehow, I have no idea how, managed to kill this Riven, and he killed her on the tower too, which means she's going to miss a lot to that tower, which is very, very good for Rengar and very bad for Riven. This is like your worst nightmare. When you're jungling and you've given first blood to your laner, especially top lane, which snowballs like crazy, and then they just lose their lane, they just die 1-on-1. Like, Udyr has done nothing top. He has had no pressure top lane. That's not a dig at him or anything like that. I'm just saying he hasn't been there yet. So how is Riven dying? It's crazy. It's very, very bad. It's a bad situation. Donating blue buff here. Very standard play. Anivia's probably got her blue buff as well. So expect, I think Anivia with blue buff is stronger than Lux. So if, I think it would have been worth it to like put pressure on their blue buff. Okay, they don't have blue yet. So Udyr should be thinking, Anivia doesn't have blue. Let's go counter jungle blue. Or let's try to do something, because if you can stop Anivia getting blue, then that is a pretty big deal, because Anivia uses a lot of mana on lane. If she doesn't have blue buff, then she can get pushed down very, very easily, because she's very, very mana intensive. But I think she's just got her blue buff now, so there's no real play to be made. This could be a bit weird, because Udyr's just shown in Tribush, and he has no oracles, and bot lane is always very often warded, so okay. They didn't have wards apparently. This is what I was talking about. As soon as you get 6, look at that wombo, Ash arrow, Sona ult. I mean, that's crazy. And look at this. Like I said, Striker has no escape. Double kill for Sona is not very good at all, but it's not that bad really. That was a very good play. I'm surprised he got away with it, to be fair, but you shouldn't overestimate anyone. Shouldn't overestimate people either, because I presumed it would be warded and that this would be a bit of a iffy play, but it wasn't, and so he took that opportunity. He punished them for not having wards, which is a very, very good play. You need to punish people on their mistakes. So that was very well done by Udyr, recognising that opportunity. This Rengar is just doing work top. It's really painful to watch this Riven lose. Maybe she's not used to the matchup. Rengar can be a bit of a dick top lane, very hard to deal with. I don't know when this game was recorded, actually, so maybe he's OP at this point, but most likely he isn't. This is probably after his nerfs. So, Udyr's red buff is very, very strong. If you can get to someone with your red buff, then you can glue onto them really, really hard. Like here, Lux is trading very well. Okay, he showed there, but I don't know whether Anivia actually saw it, because he barely showed. Okay, yeah, he's not getting away with this. This could be good, and what are you doing, bro? No, okay. It would have been a risky play. I don't really know how much damage that Anivia would have done and how much Lux could have helped out. But with red buff, Udyr is very, very strong. Phoenix Udyr does so much damage. That could have worked well, but again, there's nothing wrong with not going for that play, because if it did go wrong, then that's not good. Camping bot is never good grief. Okay, I'll just say what I was going to say. Camping bot is never a bad idea, because that's having your late game in the bag. If you get your AD carry fed, then your late game is in much better stead. This is a very, very awkward tower dive. Okay, red buff OP. I was going to say, actually, originally I think Udyr should have tanked the tower for a bit longer in that instance, because he could have tanked maybe two, maybe even 3 more tower hits. Let's just say 2 more tower hits. And Ashe could have stood in the tower range doing more damage for longer there. But instead she had to run out as well, because the tower reset onto her instead of onto Udyr. And so that meant that she wasn't damaging her anymore, so Udyr had to run back in to finish off Ez, and then Udyr died. He's still got his flash up, so maybe he could have survived that, but he was pretty screwed. It was just a bit of a sloppy play, to be honest. But they got the kill. It wasn't so bad. I mean, he's losing a lot to tower, so it's worth it anyway, but I think he could have gone without the kill. Okay. And the biggest weakness for Udyr is, like I said in the beginning, is how easy he is kited, but Anivia did nothing to stop Udyr running up to him. If you're seeing someone, I've said this before, if you see that someone has a slight weakness, so that Anivia's with that wall shows either she's not paying attention or she's just not really, I don't know, she's not all there or something like that, then maybe this is going to be a good, okay, forget what I'm saying, this Anivia, I was just trash talking this Anivia, but this instance here, Nocturne just ganked top, used his ult top, they could have gone to Dragon here, they could have forced a Dragon play, I don't know whether they could have actually got it or not. I think they have quite a lot of damage on it, but I think they should have gone to Dragon in this instance. If someone shows top and Dragon is available, if the jungler is top and Dragon is up, you should try and make a Dragon play. It's pretty much that simple. It's a very, very good opportunity to try and do Dragon. It's just little things like that, which if they'd got that Dragon, then that's like, well, I don't need to explain how important Dragon is a very, very important asset early on in the game. So I think that was an opportunity they could have taken there to actually try and get that Dragon. However, there are no pink wards. This is something maybe Udyr could have done when he went back. He's got a green ward here. I don't know whether he had enough money for a pink ward instead, but if he did, then he could have bought a pink ward instead and just chucked it on Dragon. Even if Udyr can't solo Dragon at all, no way. Even with blue buff, he can't do it. But it puts more pressure on the enemy team because they don't have it warded. So, I mean, if you've got a pink on drag, oftentimes that actually is like a free ticket for your top laner to play aggressive, because the jungler doesn't want to leave Dragon when it's pink warded because no one knows when you're going to do it. So that can make them very nervous. Make them very nervous and not actually go anywhere else because they're scared you're going to do it. This could be a pretty good gank here. Udyr, does he have red still? I don't know. But as if he survived that. That's right. That was a pretty good play. You have to be careful about when lanes start roaming because Udyr's bot is actually taking that tower. That means that there's a lot less lane pressure because I think people are going to start, when you take towers, people start roaming. Like I said, he's getting a Wisdom here, which is good. Which is a good choice. I think he should have not bought that health potion and bought a pink ward instead. That's my opinion. He bought a normal ward and a health pot, and I think he should have just bought a pink ward, and then they could have made a dragon play. When you are ahead in the game, you need to start making decisions or actions to close out the game, to finish the game while you're strong, while you're ahead. Udyr probably shouldn't be going top here just because, again, Dragon's open, and it could just be a bit, I don't know, they could go and do drag or something like, it really depends how strong the team is. If the enemy team was smart, they might just go try and force a fight, and what often happens when people go to do drag, the team who isn't doing it, so the team that has to react, is they get very they're very clingy onto objectives, and they think that we have to stop this now. And what actually happens is that they end up just, like 3 of them will die trying to defend a futile, like, dragon, trying to stop a dragon, which is just going to happen anyway. And then it means that, like, 3 of you die and they get dragon anyway, and then they just flame, like, the jungler or something. Why aren't you here? It's stupid. You just have to be very careful. But he got away with it this time, and then he got a nice dive on Riven. When you dive people, that's like worth, in my opinion, that's worth like, I don't know, 2 kills, maybe even 3 kills, because they potentially lose so much XP and gold to the tower. And when you're behind, when you get ganked under the tower and you lose all that stuff, it's a really big deal. It really sets you back, and it's a pain in the arse. Ashe is just thrown an absolute beauty of an arrow from bot to mid and he hit Ez in the face, but there wasn't really any follow up for it, so that was a bit of a weird decision by her. But still, Dragon, I'm kind of surprised that Dragon's been up all this time. Like I said, these guys need to start making moves to close this game out. They're very, very far ahead as far as it goes. So they should be taking these dragons. To be honest, this should be the second dragon that they've taken, in my opinion. They should have already got one a lot earlier than this. But they probably didn't recognise the opportunity or something like that. But, they could have done that like 5 minutes ago. They just got that completely free. There wasn't even the whole team there, but they just got it. So, yeah. Good job on getting the drag. They need to as well. They've only got one tower in the game. They need to start, like I said a million times already, trying to close out this game. They should be pushing down towers, especially mid tower. Also, something else which should have happened, Udyr should have an oracles. He should have had an oracles instead of buying that null magic mantle, in my opinion, because when you're ahead, if you can keep them behind, you know, don't give your enemy any opportunity to get back in the game. There's no point. If you're ahead, the last thing you want to do is to give your enemy that opportunity to get back into the game. And oracles just cripple a chance at a comeback. If there's one thing that fuels a comeback, it's, you know, catching someone off guard, or, you know, something along those lines. And the only way you do that is with vision, so you can make plays. And so it would make sense, therefore, that if you can take away that vision, you can deny those plays from happening. So if Udyr here had an oracle, he could just be running around the whole map, stomping all these wards. Now, because at lower elo, I believe this is 1300, I said earlier, but people are pretty poor at forging comebacks, but that's only because they start raging at each other. It's nothing really to do about skill. Anyone can forge a comeback, because if you think about how bad people are, or in your opinion, how bad people are at staging comebacks, think about how bad people are at not throwing the game. It's kind of like a double-sided coin, really, of the same thing. People are just as bad at throwing the game as they are at staging comebacks. So, anyway, moving on a little bit. This game is pretty much in the driving seat for Udyr and his teammates. I've said this like a million times. They just need to start making efforts to close the game out. This game should really be over pretty quickly. I mean, people get very demoralized in solo queue when they start losing, when people start dying. It's really easy for you to not really exploit it, but, you know, I don't want to use the trash talk people in all chat, but, you know, you just have to understand and recognize that the guys in the enemy team are probably a bit frustrated, probably a bit angry, upset, whatever. So they're probably not really paying much attention at this moment in time to the game. They're probably not playing very well. They're not playing their best. They've probably already given up, really, in all honesty. The game is far from over. That's, in my opinion, anyway. It's not over, but they are winning. That's for sure. So they just need to start. They need to group up and start taking towers. This is kind of where the commentary, in my opinion, gets a bit wishy-washy, a bit so-so, because Udyr has kind of had his impact on the game. He's done what he needed to do. He didn't, to be truthful to this Udyr, you know, and no offense to him, he hasn't really done that much, you know, but he hasn't had to do that much. And at the same time, he's done enough. Like, it's not like he's, you know, not playing properly and not doing enough or something like that. He's done well. He has done well, but he hasn't like dominated or carried or anything like that. I mean, but this is just, you know, what you should be doing when you're jungling. You don't really need to necessarily carry, be really strong, all this kind of stuff. He was bot lane. He really helped out the bot lane, who are now very, very strong, and it makes it hard for them to lose this game because their AD is in a really good position, and AD is how to carry late game. So that helps a lot. He went top as well. Okay. Ash has just landed a really nice arrow to initiate here, and Udyr is instantly egged. Sony gets a nice ult off. It looks like Ash is going down here, but that's a bit inevitable. And Udyr is carry diving right here. He's not peeling, but he's carry diving, which is not necessarily a bad thing. You can do one of either. You can either carry dive or you can peel. And he's decided to carry dive, and now he's just mopping up. This was actually really well played. The way he left that Nocturne because he knew he was dead, and then tried to look, for some other kills. He didn't get them, unfortunately, but that's always very good. When everyone just like groups up and chases someone that's dead, it's really dumb. There's no need. You can, focus on trying to get another kill, which is always better for the team. So that was a pretty good team fight. It's because they were pretty far behind that they were a bit, that fight was pretty one-sided. It wasn't spectacularly played by either side, but it didn't need to be at the end of the day. I mean, Ash got carry dove, but completely dove, by Nocturne and someone else, I can't quite remember, but just got completely rolled basically. But they didn't need to. She didn't need to stay alive because she kind of distracted. She did a really good initiate with that arrow, and absolutely owned Udyr. I have no idea what Lux is doing. These lasers, they're just crazy. They appear everywhere at random points in this game, and I'm sitting here trying to comprehend what the hell she's aiming at. She's not aiming at anything. I've come to the conclusion she's picked Lux because she likes the way her ult looks. Whatever, okay. It looks quite nice, I'll give it to you, Lux, but come on. Whatever, okay. We'll leave Lux to her devices. I'm not here to analyse her game. She's having fun firing those ults randomly, enjoying the pretty colours. We'll just let her have her fun, and we'll focus on our bear boy here. See, this is something which I don't think they did, but they should have done. And by they, I say they because it really isn't just on the jungler, but it kind of falls onto another beautiful ult Lux. Honestly, to be fair, I'm being a bit silly here. That actually did hit like 3 people, so good job. It looked pretty, but it stylish and effective. Very good ult. And now this is just like, this is what I was saying before about people who just get way too. This is GG right here. I'm calling this surrender vote, surely. But yeah, people like they're all way too like. Why did they even try to stop the dragon? They couldn't stop that dragon. They shouldn't have bothered. So now they just all died and lost dragon. I mean, it's just stupid, really. But yeah, sorry. As I was saying before, they should have timed the dragon when they did it. It really falls down to the jungler for some reason because no one else really bothers. Although everyone should really, if you remember, time it. But what you should do is go into your options and enable timestamps onto your chat, because then even if you didn't time it, you can hold Z, which will bring up all your chat, and you can scroll through your chat and have a look at the timestamps. It will say like, an ally has slain the dragon, and then it will say what timestamp that was. So like 1943, an ally has slain the dragon, and then you just add 6 minutes onto that, or like right there it says in chat, whatever that name is. I can't really read it. This quality is too low. Ash has slain Baron Nashor. Unfortunately, because he doesn't have timestamps on it, it doesn't say when when Ash killed Nash, so he can't time it. But that's why he had timestamps, and that is GG. That's all there is to it. That's all she wrote. That was a pretty. The game itself kind of lasted a bit long, but it was fairly one-sided. I think that was a pretty good game by Udyr. There were a few things which he should have done more of. Because this was my first commentary, I don't think this was very good, but I'll put this out here and see if this is very helpful. I'll just summarise what I feel that he could have done more of. Because I may have been a bit, whatever, it may have sucked in the actual video. So I think, in conclusion, Udyr, what you should do better. Well played to start with. It was a good game. However, I feel though you should have you should time Dragon more. Obviously, just time the obvious things, Dragon, Baron, but also time the buffs as well, because I think, or maybe not necessarily time them, but just be aware of when they're going to spawn, because it's very obvious when blue buff spawns. We knew that Nocturne started at blue buff because he got ganked top, Rengar got ganked top by Nocturne with double buff at like 3 minutes, which is just a standard blue route. So we knew he started at blue buff. We knew that blue buff would spawn again at 5 minutes after when he took it, which would probably be roughly like 7.5, 7.10. That's usually when blue buff respawns. And he could have made a play to steal that away, because Nocturne wasn't even around. Like, it took like a minute, I think, for Anivia to even get her blue buff. But that's just something which it would have really helped his Lux out if he was laning. If Lux had blue buff, was laning versus someone who didn't have blue buff, especially someone who's so reliant on blue buff like Anivia. So that's something to think about as well. There wasn't a lot of invading or counter jungling, but that's fine. There didn't really need to be. Udyr and Nocturne was a bit of an iffy matchup, and Lux was never really that much stronger than Anivia, so it would have been risky anyway, to be honest. So there's that. That's pretty fine. I think there was this one instance when he could have tanked the tower a bit better. I should have been more aware of that. But apart from that, the things that he did pretty well, which he should continue to do, is that basically it can all be summed up in this one, phrase: just take advantage of your enemy's weaknesses. That the bot lane was pretty shoddy at warding. He ran into Tribush and then ran down through the first bush, and they didn't even know he was there. And the AD was standing right next to the bush, which was a really bad position anyway. And they didn't know he was there because their warding was pretty poor, like I said. But he knew that, and so he just took advantage of it. Having said that, the higher elo you get, the more that's not really likely to happen. The more that, especially bot lane, when you've got the support, the warding coverage is pretty comprehensive. So you should have an oracle, especially if you're ahead, because then you can, like I said, if you get rid of vision, you get rid of opportunities to make plays. So that's something that he should have done. I can't really think of anything else. If there is anything else, I probably said it in the video. Honestly, I'm not quite sure how this one went. This was iffy, in my opinion. But let me know what you think. Like I said, this will be completely different. There wasn't really any team fights or anything like that in this game. There was maybe 2, and they were all pretty one-sided. Nothing really to analyze specifically in those fights. So, but like I say, when I upgrade my PC, I'll do this from LOL replay or something like that, and then I can kind of pause and rewind certain things and go over them a bit more, stuff like that. But this was kind of like the only way that I can do it at the moment. By watching someone else's pre-recorded game. So. Let me know what you thought, what you thunk. Yeah, and thank you for watching my first commentary. I will do more of them for sure. They'll be a lot better than this one for sure. But yeah, so this is my first one, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found something useful. Again, Udyr in this clip was Ezra Bar. I'll put a link to his channel in my comment. He often uploads his videos if you want to take a look at those. So thank you for watching, guys. I will see you in my next video.